Okay, today I'm going to show you how to estimate your 1 rep maxes based off of rep maxes a lot quicker and a lot easier. Let's go to a spreadsheet and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Okay, here we've got 10 athletes listed with made up lifts of weight lifted and the amount of reps that they completed, and we're going to assume that this is to failure or to technical failure. And the formula we're going to use for this is really simple. It is weight lifted times reps completed times a coefficient completed in parentheses first plus the original weight lifted. What this is going to do is this is going to estimate a 1 rep max based off how many reps that you did with a specific weight. But the further away you get from 1 rep, the further you get away, so down to 2, 3, 4, 5, the further you get away, typically it's going to become less and less accurate, which is true. But with this scaling coefficient that we have here, it's going to get us as close as possible. And I'm going to show you the formula and how I would calculate it on the fly and set it up to where you can set your template to where you can just enter numbers and it'll spit it out for you. So the first thing I did was create a table here for reps and what type of rep will go with what coefficient, and multiplying the weight lifted times reps times this coefficient is going to give us the right ballpark to get us as accurate as possible. This is the same coefficient that we use when we estimate maxes here in our program. Okay, so formula we're going to start with is simple. We're going to go over the estimated 1RM here, and let's type in, let's just start from the beginning, and let's go this cell, so weight times reps, okay, times, let's just call it a coefficient, okay, and let's use 3%, for example, that's here, so 0.03. Okay, we're going to put parentheses around this because we want this to be calculated first. Then we're going to add the weight back in. Press enter. So that's going to give us an estimated max there if it's just sitting at 3%. Okay, but this number that is static, if you just type it in, we need this spreadsheet to look up, hey, this many reps is being used. I want you to go look up what coefficient to use in this place. So we're going to simply erase 3% and put in a formula that is going to look that up. The formula I'm going to use is simply VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and now we've got to follow the instructions. Okay, the first thing it's asking for is the search key. Well, what are you looking up? We're looking up the rep number. So we're going to put that there, C4, comma. What's the next? It's asking for what range that it needs to look up. So we're going to select all of this range, and in order for it to stay absolute reference, so whenever we drag this down, we don't want this to shift with it. So I'm going to put $ around all of it. Okay, then it's asking index. So which column to look under? Well, this is column 1. This is column 2. We're going to look under the second column. And then is sorted, we're going to put false, so it looks for the exact match. Is how we want to do it. Okay. Then we'll press enter, and it gives us that estimated max based off of our percentage. And every time you change this number, it will change with it. Now, okay, as long as we have everything intact to move with it, so we've got our references, our weight reference, which is B, okay, our rep reference, which is C, and still got the weight reference here is B, and we drag it down, and the lookup reference here stays the same. All of the references should be accurate, and you're going to get a number here. Okay, even though this is now what you want, these aren't numbers we're looking for as far as when we train. We want numbers that end in 0 or 5. Okay, and the way we do that is with a formula known as MROUND. So now that I know that this entire formula is going to give me this number, I'm just going to add on MROUND, open parentheses. It's asking for the value. That entire formula is our value, so I can assume that. Then I want to round to the nearest what? Okay. We want to round to the nearest 5, press enter. Now it's going to give us a nice round number, drag it down, and now we've got estimated 1 rep maxes that you can trust to be used whenever you go to test, or if you do a performance set, a plus set, an APRE, maybe 531, something around those areas. And with this scaling coefficient, the further away you get from 1, the easier you're going to get, or the more accurate number you're going to get, because it's not going to be as powerful. And if you only put in 1, it's going to automatically spit out the closest thing, okay, rounded up to what you get. So notice 305 was rounded up to 310. 195 is still 195. 335 is 330. It's not perfect, but it gets you pretty close. And this is very easy way to set up. Say you wanted to set it up to where you wanted to have formulas in place. Let's say we wanted to throw in, Kirk Cousins, a new athlete, but I wanted this formula to be ready to go by the time I come down. So if I go ahead and drag this down, it's going to give me an error here. Okay, it's going to give me an error. So it did not find value. And oftentimes these errors make our spreadsheets look yucky. Like we want it to be nice and clean. So basically we want to also tell this formula, hey, if this thing ends in an error, I actually want you to leave it blank. Okay, so I'm actually going to create another formula called IFERROR. I'm going to open it. It's going to ask what the value is. The formula we've already written, this is the way you stack formulas. It's already written is the value. Just come to the end, and now it's asking, well, if this becomes an error, what do you want me to put? Well, if you put 2 quotations, that's going to mean it's going to be empty. So if I drag back down and it's empty, it's like, well, there's nothing in there, but there's a formula there. So that would be sitting there. I added an athlete. Let's say Kirk Cousins, hit 315 for 3. Boom. It's going to pop up right there and auto-populate. If I erase any part of the formula, it will tell me there's an error, okay, and leave it at that. That's a really quick way on how to estimate maxes and create a formula sheet where you can automatically fill it out and spit out estimated one rep max numbers really quickly.